Thank you, Rocky.
I want to thank you so much, Rocky and Deborah. Deborah is our music director here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and she is volunteering to come in and sing so that we have music on our Sunday celebrations. Thank you so much. And she volunteers as our music director also. She's She's amazing. So thank you so much. I just want to introduce the speaker today, who is an amazing man. He has written 5 books. He's written a book of poetry. He's written a screenplay that, when the virus is over, I am sure will be on Amazon or Netflix. He is an amazing man. He helps around here. He's one of my best volunteers. And I want you to welcome with me Reverend Larry D. Russia.
Talking about? Exactly. Good morning. For those of you who are texting me about sound quality, the sound quality changes a lot, and it depends upon your internet speed and a variety of other things. Same thing is true with when the picture stops. Right now, as you can well imagine, millions of people are on the internet that were never on it before. So we're really swamping the pipes, so to speak, and it's causing some delay and some issues. So stick with it, and if it doesn't work out for you, come back at the end of service and you can watch the recorded video and you can see the whole thing again. Today I want to talk about 3 things. First, don't get stuck in your negative thinking. Does that resonate with anybody? Yeah. Second, peace is an inside job. Because if you're looking outside, guess what you're going to find? Yeah. I love this is Studio 6, because we have an average of 6 people in the audience. The third thing I want to say is, tried and true is writing what you're grateful for in the morning shifts your perspective during the day. So the first thing I was looking at a study that was done at the UC Davis, University of California at Davis, and it was done a few years back. It was fascinating in that what they were looking at is, why do people get stuck in their negative thinking? So they designed a number of experiments to look at what people did in terms of positive and negative thinking. Very fascinating. The first one had to do with a new medical procedure. This is what they were framing it as, a new medical procedure. So they told one group of people that it had a 70% success rate. 70%. The other group of people they told had a 40% success rate. The ones they told 70%, what do you think that was? Everybody was excited, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. And the other group, meh. Fascinatingly enough, they told the first that there was a 40% failure rate as well. Guess what? They decided to change their thought. The 40% overrode the 70%. In the other group, they told the other group there was a 70% chance of success, even though they were first told 40% failure rate. They didn't change their mind. There's a telltale sign right there. The next study that they did was probably the same group of people with a slightly different twist, and that was they made up a fictitious governor, and they said that 70% of the time this guy was really good, and that he had to lay off people because of the economy. And they framed that as he was doing everything he could to help people, and so people gave it a thumbs up. On the other side, they were told that he had to lay off people, but didn't tell them the reason, had to lay people off, and there was nothing he could really do about it. And they had a 70% negative reaction to the governor. Then they went back and reframed for that group the positive, and gave them a negative, and they all went to the negative side and didn't like the governor. The side that didn't like him to begin with, when they put the positive information in there, did not change their mind. Turns out, when they do the study neurologically, they find that the negative impulses override the positive impulses in most cases. Likelihood is that our brain is wired to look out for problems in our environment. It's wired for survival. As a result, negative things come up on our risk evaluation faster. And we're less likely to change. Now, we can see this in the political divide right now, right? Somebody who is on this side, who is dead set against whoever's in office, isn't going to change their mind very easily. And those who are on the positive side, who are saying this is the best, they're not going to change their mind very easily either. And now we're getting trouble. We're not going to give up our positions because everybody is playing the survival game. And the survival game means whoever wins survives. So that causes us a problem because it also means that metaphysically we get stuck in our heads with all the negative stuff that's going on, and all thoughts have a vibration. All thoughts have a vibration. That vibration attracts to you the way of seeing the world, and the events in the world begin to mirror your inner understanding of what's going on. This has been since Ernest Holmes 100 years ago. It's been known to the Greek philosophers 2,000 years ago. It's nothing new, but it's difficult for humans to implement. The other thing I think is fascinating is today begins the conjunction of three major planets: Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars. Now, Jupiter is a good planet, good energy, good vibes. Mars is a warrior type planet, a different kind of vibe. And Saturn is a very kind of cold vibe. Mix those together, and what we're getting is a vibration of chaos that's heading into our environment. This is going to last from today until Thursday, April 2nd. So people start to feel very uneasy during these kinds of conjunctions because the energy level is so different. Now add to that the chaos we're already in and all the panic that people are in and all the fear that people are in, and that vibration coming in tends to accelerate the kinds of problems that we have with accidents and all other things. So be aware of that. So the study concluded that once you frame a thought negatively, it tends to be difficult to move out of that thought. And then we get into all the other things that are the repercussions of that. Fear is probably the most powerful emotion human beings have. And we understand why. The whole thing is about survival. I posed this question: what if it didn't matter if you survived? What would change? What if you knew that when your body dropped away, that the essence of who you are moved to a new body? You'd go, oh, well, I'm done with this, I'm moving on to the next one. The whole fear survival routine would begin to drop away. And what Eastern philosophies have known for thousands of years is that's exactly what happens. We transmigrate from body to body, learning what we need to learn, going on to other experiences. What most of us fear more than death is the idea that we won't be able to experience anything. This idea that we go into a blackness and we have no experience at all. And of course the ego, and it's like, what? So the mind has all this stuff, all these games that go on. That's why the next point is peace is an inside job. And I want to read you what George Michael once said: you'll never find peace till you listen to your heart. George Michael, the singer. You'll never find peace of mind till you listen to your heart. We build an artificial wall between the truth of who we are and who we think we are. Amma tells a story, the great hugging saint, tells a story about this young boy was taking care of the cows in the pasture for the monks in the monastery. And he would bring them in every night and tie them up. And one night he brought them in and tied them up, but one of the ropes was missing. He didn't know what to do, so he ran to the monk and he says, "What can I do? We'll probably run away and I'll have to go to the hills." And the monk said, "No, just go back and act as though you're the rope." So he did. And the cow laid down with the rest of them and stayed there. The next morning, he got all the cows up and took them out to the pasture, and he noticed there was one missing. He went back to the barn, and there was the cow still there. He ran to the monk and he said, "What am I going to do? It's just laying there." And the monk said, "Yeah, untie him." So he went and untied him, and the cow got up and ran for the other cows. It's a artificial barrier. We put that limit in front of us. We are tying our own imaginary knot and don't recognize the truth of who we are. Some part of us, we get a glimpse of from time to time. It's like happiness. We get a glimpse of happiness. Maybe when we're a child, we get more glimpses of happiness. And then when we're passing an exam in school or our first romantic encounter, we get happiness and then it goes away. It goes and comes and goes. Because happiness dependent upon the outside world is always going to be a roller coaster. Happiness has to be like peace. It has to be an inside job. And what all the great saints will tell you is that peace and happiness are the essence of who you are. Awareness is that first place, awareness that you're not your mind and body is that first place that you need to realize something's listening to my thoughts. What is it? What knows what the world is? What knows what the sensations in the body are? Something does. It already knows. The power that we're talking about, that artificial barrier that we have in front of us, is the ego mind. All the conditioning and domestication that has put us into a frame of mind, like that negative thinking that we hang on to, puts us into a negative frame, and we stay there. We take all these emotions and experiences and feelings that we had over time that we don't want to experience again, and shove them in a bag that's so long dragging behind us that it's taking all of our energy. That's what letting go is about. But we have this conditioned response to feeling, which is, I don't want to feel it. You know how we can tell? People check out by going and watching television all night, by getting addicted to different things, different substances, watching television, going to the movies, avoiding the very thing they need to address in order to have more energy and more experience. I remember the first time that I went to see it was a bioenergeticist. And it was a fascinating experience because after we had gone through opening up these energy channels, when I walked outside, it was like, wow, the colors were dramatic. And the sounds were so crystal clear. And the energy I felt was like crisp, fresh air. That's what happens when we begin to unload all this baggage that we've stored and shoved down. And it's shoved so far down that the shadows in that bag we're scared to death of. We don't want that bag because it would be, to me, it's like the picture of 1,000 bats coming out of the cave. But we need to. We need to have the courage to face those kinds of things and open that bag and begin to empty it. Because that's the place where we're going to find peace and happiness. But you know what one cow said to the other? The first cow said, moo. The other cow said, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. So gratefulness is the other point. Gratefulness is interesting because if you do it from a biological standpoint, the neurology of it is when you're grateful, when you're thankful for something, shifts your energy and your chemistry in your body. So getting up in the morning and writing what you're grateful for is the best way to start right after you've done your 2-minute meditation or your 30-minute meditation or your hour meditation, whatever you do. And by the way, people get so scared of meditation. The first thing you need to know about meditation, force it. About the idea of just sitting down and being quiet. Yeah, and I know that we've all been to the place to where the moment you sit down, the mind gets more anxious, and it wants to go through what's going to happen tomorrow, what happened in the past, and what's going to be the feelings that we're going to have to avoid or not avoid, and it goes through that whole cycle. Don't worry about it. Just let the mind do what it's going to do and ignore it. And just keep breathing. Keep following your breath. As you follow your breath, you become more and more calm, more and more peaceful. So it's an inside job. Don't get stuck in your negative thinking. Peace is an inside job. Happiness is an inside job. And remember that every time that you pull your mind away from it running, you're training it. You know that meditation, the best way it was ever explained, meditation is training your mind not to wander around. I like that. Because that's what happens when we first start meditating. We learn how to train our mind. That's what meditation from Search Inside Yourself with Google is all about. Training your mind in that 2 minutes, because that's our attention span today, about 2 minutes. And then we're off to Starbucks. So all of these things are important to us. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, which I didn't mention, is today we need compassion more than anything else. Around the world we need compassion. There's a story that I heard about with a couple in Los Angeles who had moved from one neighborhood to another neighborhood. And it was Rose and Rose Espinoza. 1991, they moved from one neighborhood to another. And they loved the house, but they soon found out that it was not a good neighborhood because all the kids that were down at the corner with their baseball bats weren't playing baseball. They were gangs hanging out. And she decided she had to do something different. So what she did is she converted her garage into a classroom. And she started tutoring the kids after school. The first day, around Los Angeles, she was in Brea, around Los Angeles in the difficult areas. And those kids, since that time, 2 years later, as the kids had gone through all the tutoring, they have great grades, they're getting into college, and all the gangs have moved on. And the neighborhoods have improved. Because she had such compassion for the kids. We need that same kind. We need it for each other, for what we're going through, all the panic, all the fear, all the things that are getting the mind riled up. We need compassion and understanding. And we need to know that the power of love, which is what the universe is, the power of love is within us. And the only thing blocking it is that artificial wall that we've tied ourselves to. Untie yourself from this negative spot that you're in. And recognize the truth of who you are is so much more. And when you do, like the universe has just opened up and given you the greatest gift. So, take a deep breath, close your eyes. I want to do a short meditation. As you breathe, just focus your awareness inside. Focus it on your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And notice how you're relaxing more as you breathe in and breathe out. Your whole body is relaxing. If there's any thoughts moving through, just allow them to be the clouds that are drifting off. Focus on the blue sky. Focus on your breath. There is within us peace and happiness. It's ours for the choosing. As we focus on what's right in our life, what's good in our life, the joys of being alive, that every minute is a choice, that each minute that we're at choice, we can choose compassion and love and peace over anything else. As you focus your awareness now in your heart, feel the energy of your heart and the energy of compassion, and allow that to radiate out to your neighborhood, to your city, to the country, and to the world. Allow that white light of love and peace and joy to enshrine the earth, blocking anything unlike itself, and allowing through the rays of love. Feeling the silence, recognizing the peace, joy, and love. I give thanks for it. I give thanks for it in my life. And I give thanks for your compassion and peace and joy. And with that, I say, so it is, and so we receive it. Amen. All right. Thank you. So let's do our, we have giving. You want to come up and do it with me? Yeah, no.
You don't have them on?
No. So we have, you can text the information when you text GIVE to the number that's on the bulletin, or it's in your emails in the morning. We have it posted everywhere. You can text and say GIVE, and it'll be a form you fill out. You can give. You can just mail your checks in. You can go online to our website and click GIVE or donate. There's a variety of places to do that. And this is a time to open up and recognize that the more we give, the more we're supporting the world in what it's doing, because this is important for everybody to know at this moment in time.
I just want to thank everyone who has so generously mailed in checks or gone to text or gone onto the website. I know I'm an automatic giver, and yet every week I've chosen to give a little bit more so that the Center for Spiritual Living St. Louis stays open and running, and that we can be here to support you in your spiritual journey. So whatever is your gift, whatever, if you're pressing that button, give right now, just give it with a heart filled with love. That's all that counts. Give it with love. I give because I love this spiritual community, and so it is. You can go sit down now. You're done.
And I just want to mention my email address is lderusha@gmail. And if you have any questions on anything, just send me an email, short email, and I'll respond to you.
I also want to say, normally we get the morning prayer every morning. I didn't get mine this morning. I don't know what happened. We're really working on all the technical problems around here. This is only our second week we've done this, and it will get better, trust me. Also, on the morning prayer is a little red block near the top on the right that says prayer request. So if you have a prayer request, please hit that and type up your prayer request. And on Sundays, I will go ahead and name you, if you choose, name to let all of us around the world put you in prayer. So let's just take a moment now as we move into our spiritual mind treatment, where we together know that there's one power, one presence, one life, That life is whole, complete, and perfect. That life is my life and your life right now. If there's somebody in particular that you would like to put into prayer right now, just think of their name or say it out loud. And now say your own name out loud. For I know that every word we speak is about the wholeness of spirit. So I declare that everybody's name that has been spoken is in that flow of spirit. The greater good is unfolding. I declare for this planet that we allow this coronavirus to move on out. That we allow it to dissolve itself. And in its place is a new world, a new opportunity to love and to live. And may each one of us today open up our hearts to recognizing that powerful presence of spirit, energy. So whatever is your prayer request today, whatever it is that you would like to see unfold in your life, I declare that it's complete for you and it's done. For that power and presence of spirit, that one wholeness, right now is awakening to its magnificence as me and as you. We recognize together that life is divine, that we move forward expressing the power of spirit. May we open up our hearts to compassion, to love, to gratitude. May we move forward each and every moment, connecting with people. If it's online, if it's at the grocery store, just connecting, recognizing that everyone is the face of God. So I declare this and I know this and I give thanks for it. Take a few minutes and allow Sherry Lees to move our energy through the sacred bowls. And as we do this, we have information that we're going to say to ourselves or out loud. God is good all